Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. The universe is not what you think it is. I am the modern day prophet, and today this video is going to be titled, "The Entire World is Under a Great Deception. You will never guess where that originates from." Excuse me. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about that deception that I've referred to in my other videos, but this time I'm going to tell you where it actually comes from. And I guarantee you, none of you will believe it. If you can even believe that there's a deception at all, you definitely won't believe where it's coming from. Now, you ever hear the saying, truth is stranger than fiction? Well, that is our reality, because what is actually the truth and fact, people see as fairy tale and fiction and forbidden knowledge, whatever. And what's actually fable, fairy tale mythology is what has become our reality. That is the way we're living right now. And because our entire society is based on these lies and deceptions, our world is crumbling. Our world is falling apart. And I'm going to talk about all of that today. So well, first let me just talk about what the deception is. As I've mentioned before, I've said it's a two-part deception, but it's actually a three-part. We have religion, which is primarily Islam, Christianity, Judaism. That's the first part of the deception. Then we have the theory of evolution, which basically gathers up all of the people who don't fall, for the religious deception. But there's also another part that I just realized that I didn't even realize before, and that's Hollywood. Now, I don't believe any of these entities are intentionally deceiving anybody. It's just the way that things seem to work. And what I mean, let me just explain Hollywood. A lot of people think that outer space is based on what they've seen in the movies, like Star Trek, Star Wars, that has nothing at all. That's not outer space. That's also just fantasy and fiction. It's movies. It's not reality. Star Wars and Star Trek in no way resembles what outer space really is. So that's the deception. And because of religion and the theory of evolution and Hollywood, people have no idea what the earth is, what the sun is, what the solar system is, what the galaxies are, nothing. People just don't know. And as a result, people don't know what our real purpose is. That's the deception. If people really knew that, hey, what's really important is getting rid of all of these nuclear weapons, every single one of them, if people really understood that, hey, we got to stop dumping all of this carbon into the atmosphere through our usage of fossil fuels and also through overpopulation of the earth, if people realize that we have to figure out a way to depopulate the earth, if people realize we got to figure out a way to stop dumping so much of these chemicals and poisons into our oceans, people do not realize what's really important. And the reason why is because, do you ever hear any pastors, talking about, hey, we got to start taking care of this planet? Do you ever hear any pastors talk about, all of the carbon we're dumping into the atmosphere? Do you ever hear any imams talking about, how we're overpopulating the planet? Do you ever hear any Jewish people saying how we got to get rid of all of the nuclear weapons? Let me explain this to you as I've explained before. The Earth is the oxygen element of this solar system. If we were to engage in nuclear war, and if we destroyed the Earth to the point that it could no longer function as the oxygen element of the solar system, that would mean the entire destruction of the solar system. The entire solar system would end up in a black hole. That's how that works. And it doesn't have anything to do with being good or evil, but I'll get back to that. So let me say, where is this deception coming from? Who is deceiving us? Who's deceiving the entire world? Well, I'm sure many of you right now are thinking that it has to be the devil. It has to be the devil deceiving everyone. And I can tell you that the devil is nothing more than a fairy tale or a fable. He's a myth. He doesn't exist. And the crazy thing is, most of you don't even understand the fairy tale. You don't even understand the fairy tale. So I guess there's no way you're gonna ever understand the truth if you can't even understand the fiction or the fairy tales. So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna quickly explain to you the whole fairy tale of God and the devil and what all of that really was trying to say, what it means. I actually I started to write a book about this and stopped working on it and kind of got sidetracked with other things. But let me explain to you God and the devil and what all of that really means. And to really be able to understand it, you have to understand the biblical account, and you also have to understand the Islamic account. You have to understand the Bible and the Quran. You've had to read both stories. And yes, I have read both stories. I've studied religion extensively for a very long time, many different religions, many religions. Before I eventually switched to atheism, and then I eventually switched to mathematics, zeros and ones. But let me explain to you the whole God and the devil thing quickly. Okay, there was God. God was by himself. God decided to make a son or a prince, and all of the existing material that he could find, he took and he made his first creation. And so, as not to confuse anybody, we're going to call that creation Satan. So then there was just God and Satan. So God and Satan started creating, everything in existence, and they started getting tired, and God realized they needed some help. They needed at least one more. But God had used up all the existing material creating Satan. So God had to figure out another way to make this other son or prince. So God decided to take some of his own body and use that to make another son. So it was God and then God's two sons, Satan, and we'll call the other one Jesus. Once again, so as not to confuse anybody. So Satan was God's first creation, and Jesus was God's only begotten creation, meaning that Jesus was the only creation that actually came from God himself. So it was God, and it was his two princes or sons or whatever you want to call them. So God and his two sons created everything in existence, everything that we know, the universes, the planets, the stars, everything. They started creating everything that we see. And they eventually came to the planet Earth. And they created the planet Earth. And this was the most beautiful creation of all. The earth was their pride and joy. The animals, the plants, the flowers, the birds, the fish, everything. It was just amazing. So they needed somebody to take control or have authority over the planet. They couldn't have one of the angels do it because it would cause too much dissension. So they decided they would create, someone to be in charge of the planet. So God, Jesus, and Satan all got together and they created Adam. Now understand, Adam was not a human. Adam was an angel. Adam was an angel not created from light like the other angels, which I should have explained that the angel created by light, but I'm trying to make this quick. But Adam was created from the dirt. He was created from the dirt and made of flesh and blood. Adam was the first and only flesh and blood angel. So then, they eventually took a rib from Adam and created another angel, which was Eve. So the first two earthly flesh and blood angels were Adam and Eve. Now, what you need to understand, because they were made of flesh and blood, they represented masculine and feminine, and thus had the appropriate body parts. Meaning Adam had the masculine body parts and Eve had the feminine body parts. That's because they had the fleshly bodies. That's important. I'll come back to that. So, anyway, God, decided to give Adam and Eve authority over the earth. Now, this is where the problem came in for Satan. Satan didn't believe that these monkeys should have authority over their most beautiful creation. Now, if you know it from the biblical perspective, or actually if you know it From the Quran's perspective, God commanded Iblis and his angels to bow down to Adam. This meant, the Bible is not as clear as the Quran, but basically this meant that God was giving Adam authority over the entire earth and everybody that was on the earth. So basically, if the angels came to visit the earth, they had to answer to Adam. And apparently this included Satan and Jesus as well. And Satan wasn't having it. Satan was not going to bow down to a monkey like Adam. And to be honest, I really don't. Looking back at it, Satan was completely right. He shouldn't have. Seeing how we've treated this planet. But anyway, that's where the problem came in. So Satan's greatest sin was actually vanity. Because God had gave Adam and Eve authority over the planet. Now, of course, Satan wasn't happy about this. And Satan wasn't going to stand for this. So, let's go to the Bible, which I'm more familiar with in this case, where it talks about the serpent tricking Eve into eating the fruit, and then Eve tricking Adam. That story had nothing to do with fruit and eating fruit. That's the way they had to tell the story for the time, I guess, because they couldn't tell the actual story. Or maybe, certain people in the know knew the actual story, but they couldn't put it in the Bible. What that story was talking about was sex. The serpent referred to the devil, once again, or Satan once again. The serpent, a dragon without wings. A dragon, Satan, that's what it represented. It represented Satan. Satan convinced Eve to have sex with him, and then Eve convinced Adam to have sex with her. Now, the problem is they weren't supposed to have sex. That was because they were, in the Bible it says that angels don't marry. That means that angels don't have sex. And that's what God had really told Adam and Eve, was that they were not to engage in the same behavior that they saw the other animals engaging in. Because the animals were procreating. That's how they had kids. They had sex. And Adam and Eve, as the two angels on the planet, were not allowed to engage in that behavior. But Satan tricked Eve, and then Eve tricked Adam. And then you notice, as soon as they supposedly ate the fruit, they felt the need to make clothes and cover themselves. They felt the need to make clothes and cover themselves because of what they had done. And it wasn't eating fruit. Now, to further substantiate what I'm saying, if you remember that Eve had two children. She had Cain and Abel. Cain was evil, Abel was good. Cain represented Satan's seed, and Abel represented Adam's seed. Cain killed Abel, meaning Satan's son killed Adam's son. And then that's when the new line went through Seth. And I'm not going to waste any more time talking about this. I really just wanted to give you an accurate description of what those scriptures were actually trying to say and what they meant. Most people don't even understand that much. So I figured I would do y'all a favor and explain it. But the whole purpose of me saying all of this was that Satan wasn't even really described as evil in the Bible. So Satan has nothing on the evil of humanity. So it can't be Satan deceiving us. It can't be the devil deceiving us. Because we're significantly more evil than the Bible has ever described him. So if it's not the devil deceiving us, I'm sure the next answer is probably going to be there's a very intelligent secret society of people deceiving us. And I can tell you, this deception has been going on for 2,000 years. There is no way that this deception comes from man. In fact, those secret societies are not even really all that secret, to be honest. They probably think they got some secrets, but I can assure you their secrets don't have anything on what I know. I could make a secret society that would just totally, blow these other ones out the water. But, I can't do that because the whole thing is, I want us to create an enlightened age. I want us to create a much better world, an awesome world. And in order for that to happen, people have to know and understand the truth. We can't build our societies based on lies and falsehoods. or we're going to get what we have right now, a world that's a shithole that's falling apart. That's what we're going to get. So we have to know the truth. And that's why, I would never, try to promote any secret societies. And like I said, they don't really know anything anyway. Nothing that's relevant to what's about to wipe our behinds out right now. So it's not these intelligent groups of people behind the scenes deceiving everybody. It would be much easier if it was that, but that's not the case. All of these people are just as deceived as everybody else. Look at our leaders right now. Look at the leaders of the United States, Russia, China. Everybody's posturing with nuclear weapons. Now, if these people really knew anything, they would know better. They would all be getting rid of the nuclear weapons as quickly as they could, destroying them all. But they're not. Now, part of them may think that, hey, they want to destroy everything. They want the whole world or solar system to be destroyed because they think everything's going to start over and everything will start brand new. But that's part of the deception as well. There is no afterlife. Once it's over, it's over. Everything starts over. It's brand new. We're gone. We're not even a memory. We're not even history. We just simply won't exist anymore. And that's the way things work. Now, I could go further into that, but before I do, okay, let me say, if the deception is not coming from the devil and it's not coming from some secret society of super intelligent people, then where is the deception coming from? Where is this powerful? And understand, this deception is very powerful. Any deceptions that can fool the entire world is incredibly powerful. And to have lasted for as long as it has is incredibly powerful. Now think about what I just said. If the deception is that powerful, there's only one place that it can come from, and that's from God himself. The deception is coming from God. Now, why would God want to deceive the whole world? What sense would that make? Why would God need to deceive us? Understand that God is not good or evil. God is not righteous or bad. These are all human adjectives. These are all words to describe humans. These words don't apply to God. For God is all about what needs to be done when it needs to be done. And whatever that is, it has to happen. If it means the destruction of the human race, then it means the destruction of the human race. And understand what all of that is for the balance of oxygen and carbon in our atmosphere. That's why everything exists on this planet. That's why all of these ecological systems exist. That's why we all exist inside of the ecological system. And that is to maintain the balance of carbon and oxygen in our atmosphere. And as you know, as I've already spoken to, we're not even doing that. We're doing the exact opposite of that. We're dumping as much carbon as we can, like I said, through the fossil fuel usage and through overpopulation of the planet. Because understand that all of these billions of people all breathe oxygen and all exhale carbon monoxide. That's a huge carbon dump as well. So why, once again, why would God want to deceive the world? Why wouldn't God want us to do the right things? What would be the point of deceiving us? As I said, it's not about good or bad or anything like that. It's all about the health of the solar system, the health of the galaxy, the health of the universe. And sometimes solar systems have to be destroyed and recreated in order to maintain the health of the galaxy. And it's just that simple. It doesn't have anything to do with, good or bad or wanting to see us die or anything like that. It's just about the health of the galaxy and the health of the universe, which means that sometimes some solar systems have to go. Now, I personally don't want it to be our solar system. Maybe I'm selfish. I don't even care. As far as I'm concerned, it can be somebody else's solar system. But the whole reason this deception exists, in my opinion, is because we are fated to destroy everything. That's why this deception exists. Because we're supposed to destroy everything, including the solar system. I'm talking the whole solar system. As I said If we were to engage in nuclear war and destroy the planet to the point it can no longer function as the oxygen element of the solar system, that would mean the destruction of the entire solar system. Everything gone. There are no do-overs. There is no afterlife. Everything's just gone, including the sun. The sun would also be destroyed, if we went into a black hole. So I've asked myself, how am I the only person not affected by these deceptions? Well, I can tell you the reason why is because the sun has enabled me to not be affected by the deceptions, to put it as simply as I can. Yeah, I know many of you think the sun is just a ball of gas. It's much, much more than that. The sun is 98.6% of all of the mass in the solar system. The sun controls and balances everything in the solar system. The sun is, in effect, the god of this solar system. Now, also understand that the sun, now I'm going to tell you something that goes beyond the video, but the sun is made of a combination of 8 parts matter and 8 parts quantum force. Quantum force is another word for God's force. So 8 parts matter, 8 parts quantum force, 8 planets. That's what this is. So in a sense, if quantum force is equivalent to God's force, that will make the sun a physical representation of God, able to create and destroy. The only difference is the configurator, as I call him, which is God, is infinite and metaphysical. The sun is not infinite, and the sun is not metaphysical. This means that every star in our universe is a physical representation of God, no matter how big or small it is. Every star contains quantum force. Quantum force is the force of God. So, anyway, I believe that we are supposed to destroy this solar system in order to make way for a new solar system. In fact, all of that debris that we see in the solar system may be the remnants of solar systems that were here before this one. That's just the way it worked. My thing is, I don't want it to be our solar system. I believe that if we get rid of the nuclear weapons and we get a handle on the oxygen and carbon balance in our atmosphere, we figure out renewable energy or clean energy or solar energy, whatever it takes to stop dumping so much carbon into the atmosphere and to stop overpopulating the planet. My suggestion would be to stop having so many kids, stop bringing so many kids into the world, and eventually the population should go down to the appropriate levels that it needs to be. That would be my suggestion. But yeah, and basically that's what we have to do to increase our survivability and our longevity on this planet as the human race. We have to get this oxygen carbon balance under control. We have to get rid of the nuclear weapons. We just have to start taking care of the planet. We have to start taking care of the planet. And nobody who believes in God seems to care about the planet, which is God's creation, which is going to be my next video, by the way. I'm going to address all of these so-called God believers who don't give a crap about the planet. I'm going to take them to task in my very next video. But that's what we have to do. We have to take care of the planet if we want to survive. And if we keep going in the direction we're going, destroying the atmosphere, overpopulating the planet, creating all of these nuclear weapons, the only reason nuclear weapons exist is to destroy humanity and to destroy the planet. That's what's going to happen. We are going to bring about our own annihilation. And like I said, that may just be the natural order of things. That may be what's supposed to happen. But I do believe we can change our fate, because I don't want that to happen. And I can only assume that the reason why I've been given all of this knowledge, all of this understanding, why I'm not affected by any of the deceptions, is because maybe the sun doesn't want to be destroyed either. I don't want to be destroyed, and maybe the sun doesn't either. And that's why I've wrote this book. I've made all of these videos. I have a core space where I answer all kinds of questions daily. I have a YouTube group. The book is the beginning. This is the starting point. You have to understand what's in this book to understand what's going to be on my social media. Like the book is the beginning, and the social media expands on a lot of the things that I say in the book. Like this video, I don't happen to talk about this deception in the book, but I'm talking about it. I'm explaining it in the video, but you still have to even understand what the deception refers to, which is going to be in the book. So please make sure you get a copy of the book. You know, like I said, if one person buys the book and reads it to the rest of the world, that will be fine by me, as long as the whole world knows what's in the book. Once everybody knows what's in the book, science will not be able to stay the same. I can guarantee you that. Science will absolutely have to change once people know what's in this book. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. You know, the deception, religion, theory of evolution, Hollywood's depiction of outer space. You know, who created this deception? God himself. And when I speak of God, I'm not talking the creator of everything in existence, the infinite metaphysical creator of everything in existence. Right now, I'm talking about the sun. The sun controls everything in this solar system, and as far as we are concerned, that is our God, because the sun determines whether we live or die. Now, there are other things in the universe that can determine whether the sun lives or dies, as I've explained. But in terms of our lives are totally in control of that most powerful star that balances our solar system. And so, you know, that's the entity that we have to be most concerned about. And that's the entity that cast this deception. That's the same entity that gave me all of my knowledge and wisdom. That's the same entity that probably told somebody how to build that pyramid of Giza. The same entity that told somebody how to split the atom. The same entity that explained chemistry and alchemy. You know, God really does work in mysterious ways. That is absolutely the truth. And yeah, but anyway, that's who cast the deception. And why did he cast this deception? Because I truly believe that we are fated to destroy this solar system. That's the natural order. But I'm hoping that the sun gave me this knowledge to share with all of you, to wake people up to the truth and the reality of our situation and the calamity that we're facing. And I hope I can get enough of you to wake up and get behind me. I want to remove all of the nuclear weapons from the planet. I want to stop dumping so much, all of this carbon into the atmosphere. And I want us to depopulate the planet by about 2 billion people. You know, if you agree with those things, my God, please help me, because I can't do this by myself. I thought I could, but I'm really getting discouraged. I really need anybody who's watching this video and believes in the things that I'm saying right now to please get behind me. Let's fight to save this world from annihilation. Let's save ourselves. Let's save the human race for our children. Let's save the planet for the human race and our children and their children and their children. Please help me. Please share this video. Please comment if you have any questions. I will explain anything that you need me to explain. You can check out, like I said, any of my social media. I have a course space. I have a Facebook group. I have this YouTube channel. And I also have this book. So I'm doing everything I can to bring awareness to the truth. In fact, like I said, truth is stranger than fiction, because truth has become our fiction. And fairy tales and fables have become our reality. And as a result, we're heading on the road of annihilation, or down the road of annihilation. And I want to change that. I want to change our fates. And I hope you help me change our fates. Anyway, everybody, thank you for watching this video. I love you all. Peace.